All right. Hey, we're back, Chubbies.
Yes.
With the most interesting man maybe ever on the show.
Really looking forward to this.
Yeah. I mean, Dave Lusk, ladies and gentlemen. What the hell are we going to talk about, Lusk?
A little bit of everything.
Yeah. I mean, eat that mic. Eat that mic. You're going to put right up on it.
Oh, right over here.
Right up on it. Yeah. Get right up on that thing, Lusk.
How about that?
Yeah. I mean, of all the things
like it's a Whopper.
That's right. Of all the things you've done in life, have you ever been on a podcast?
I have not.
Yeah. This is your first.
I've did some TV and things like that.
I knew you had.
Not a podcast. Yeah.
I mean, so you probably, let's start off with this. You probably pioneered guided deer hunts in Ohio, right?
I was one of three that when I first started. It was 2005.
Is that what it was? I thought it was earlier than that.
Yeah. So we're going on our 18th year.
Wow.
And so, when I first started, there was me and two others that was really doing it. One fella that's been doing it for around 24, 25 years now. He's much older than me.
Yeah.
And then, just one thing kind of turned into the other, and I just kind of brainstormed, went with it, because I had all these properties I had hunted ever since I was young.
Yeah, you're pretty local to Jackson. I mean, you're definitely local to Southern Ohio. You're
Oak Hill, South Webster, Minford, Jackson. Yep.
Yeah, I've known you since earlier than that.
Yeah.
Probably. That was probably about the time I met you, though, probably.
Yep.
You had that white F-150.
Pete's Corner Pub, baby.
Lord.
Boy, the relationships that were forged in that.
Hey, I'm telling you.
Hey, it was some wild days there. It was wild.
That's right.
No kids.
That was back, back when things were a little crazy.
Yeah, you would have just been married.
Yeah.
Probably at that time, right?
Yeah.
How old would you have been? How old would we have been? 24, 23?
Yeah, thereabouts.
Wild times.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, whenever we first started that, it was just one of those things. We had, all these properties, all these relationships that I had, made with these landowners locally, things like that. And I have, at that point, just killed a plethora of big deer, a lot of birds.
Big deers were getting hot.
Yeah, and it was just one of those things, like I started putting people on their first turkey, people on their first big buck, and things like that, and really enjoyed that aspect of it. And,
did you like to start trading hunts, kind of like guys like they would see that you'd killed one, they'd be like, hey, I'd like to come up and kill one. You'd be like, well, I'd like to go down there and kill one.
Yeah,
and
deep sea fishing, black bear hunting, you name it.
When did it dawn on you, like, hey, man, I can make a business out of this?
So, I just kind of started brainstorming. There was nobody in our area, literally from Columbus all the way down, that was doing anything like that.
There probably wasn't even anybody up north, because, I mean, back then, we were hot.
Yeah, off to like Tuscarawas, Muskingum, the Golden Triangle of Ohio. That area had some guides, too. But other than that, from there all the way down, there was nothing going on at all whatsoever. And so, at that time, I was in the hospital getting really burned out, radiology and things like that.
Yeah, you were rad tech.
Yep. And floating in between there and CAT scan is just one of those things. I was like, I do not, even though I enjoyed helping people and, making a difference in their lives and things like that, it was something I couldn't see myself doing the rest of my life. There's got to be something more, something else out there to help drive me, to make me want to achieve more, And so I started looking at ways of turning my hobbies into money, really. And, and so what better way to, to have these properties and to know what I'm doing and to forge these relationships with the landowners and things like that. And, just started off small, 1 or 2 farms, brought in people, launched a website, obviously. Facebook, social media wasn't a thing then.
Yeah, website. It was all website.
It was all website.
Who did that?
Yeah.
Who built your first website?
Just a boy from Jackson.
Really?
And he actually still does it, but he's moved down into the Carolinas.
Really?
Yep. And so magazine ads, things like that was super popular. All that's went away.
Like, what was your budget the first year you did that?
Really, there wasn't too much of a budget the first year. I mean,
you went to a lot of trade shows.
Yeah, went to trade shows. We spent a lot of money just on, stands and the properties alone. Back then, even then, they were still $10, $15 an acre. So, you're looking at $4,000 to $6,000 per property. So that was $10,000.
Yeah, you go around 100 acres, which really isn't much in the hunting world.
No. Yeah, my first year, I think I had one farm that was around 250 and another farm that was around 425, somewhere in the area of that. So I started out with like 700 or 800 acres, which was still, looking at $10,000,
Yeah.
And then you had all your tree stands you had to buy side by side, your gas, fuel. I mean,
hotel, food.
Yeah, there was a lot going out for it.
You used to put them up in the Knights Inn.
The Knights Inn and the Lazy Dog down there. They housed us some. Yeah,
I remember you putting guys up in the Knights Inn.
Yeah.
That was back before they tore it down.
Yeah.
But it would have been great for them. Back then.
Yeah. And then it wasn't too long after that, you just kind of get your feet under you, get your bearings, see what your customers really like, and that's where I was like, okay, this is going to go. And we launched just building our first cabin, and then that went up pretty quick.
Yeah.
And then from there, it just took off. I ended up, a couple years later, hiring my first employee. That stemmed into the most I've ever had was around 15 employees, 15 guides. And then I had 1 or 2 secretaries, 4 cooks, going through all these lodges, cleaning crews, stuff like that. Yeah. And so now, though, I've kind of stem back and really just kind of made, found out what the core, what our customers really genuinely like. And I don't like being so out of touch with customers that I can't say, hey, Jason, nice to see you. I'm glad you're back for another year, because there are some outfitters that are so big that you're just another number.
Well, you kind of like, and I don't think that you meant to get this way, but like, I've always thought that you were like so good at marketing that you kind of faced what a lot of people do. Like, you got so big here that you couldn't find a way. I don't mean this out of turn, but like, you couldn't find a way to hire enough people that you could make it run smoothly.
100%.
And like, but you had the numbers. Like, how many at one time? Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't you have like 2 million people on your Facebook at one time?
It was closer to high hundreds, thousands. Yeah.
Yeah, like you had that, like you were probably at one time. I remember looking at your Facebook one time, and I was like, yeah, I think it might have been like 212,000 or something I saw, or
closer to 300.
Yeah, something. Whenever I looked at it, I was like, oh my God! But you had a few posts that like had 1 million reach.
Oh, easily. I did that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, holy shit! Like, Lusk is, like, he's doing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've not only from the outfitting standpoint. And like I said, I've stepped back a lot to where I want to be able to know you face to face and get to be friends with you and things like that. And there's some outfitters that don't have that opportunity. That's the type of how a business grows, is having repeat customers.
You can't do that with 200,000 people chirping at you on Facebook.
No. It's very hard. So whenever you come in, to the lodge, we have, usually around 12 to 14, somewhere in the area of that. After you visited, I'll know you by your first name. We'll probably share some talks, and, we'll hopefully be taking pictures of you with your big buck or your turkey or whatever, and sharing that experience. And if you don't, I'm sure that you'll leave with a good taste in your mouth anyways. Cause I mean, bow opener, we have music and we have barbecue, and you've played for us. I mean, we do it right. And people really enjoy it. It's a home atmosphere. That's what people really want.
What kind of clientele do you normally get for these things?
Blue collar workers.
Really?
Yeah. We get guys that's what they want. That's what they do. They save up their money. They come book a hunt every year. That's what they do with their budgeted money. That they don't
own property.
Nope.
Ain't got no place to hunt. They might live in the city.
Property's rough. Property's one of those things. Everybody always thinks the first thing to do is go buy property. But even if you buy a small chunk, you're still looking at 400,000. I mean, a small chunk, just say 100 acres, 4,500 an acre. Yeah. And that's around here. You might find it for 35, but it's probably going to be more like 4,500 an acre. That's here in this part of the state. When you go to Pennsylvania, Jersey, some of these other places, you're looking at $6,000 to $8,000 an acre. So that's a lot of money to put out for somebody who just wants to deer hunt. And then leases are so hard to try to get onto, and those leases aren't producing the type of deer that they really want to kill. Yeah. So Ohio is the first big buck state that you come to from the East Coast. Yeah. That's why we draw in people from Pennsylvania and Jersey and New York. And I mean, I've had people come from far away as France, fly across, and Canada, Alaska, but that's primarily, blue collar worker guys that, are from the East Coast, all the way down to Florida, and that's what they like to do. So.
Dave, how many, what would you say, percentage wise, how many of your customers are repeat customers? that come back
during certain dates where, like for this year, we're already filled up because high 90th percentile are
they've all been here
customers.
before.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
They just enjoy it so much because if they know if they don't go ahead and grab a spot for the week that they want, it's not going to be there.
So are they signing up like when they come this year? They're signing up for next year.
Yeah, most of them as soon as they leave,
So you're full for this year.
I'm probably about 80% full. Yeah, I have some spots, but for the most part, like the rut, bow opener, most of gun season, some of them dates that are off tilt a little bit early, like mid-October, some of them time frames that aren't
after
really
gun season.
After gun season, stuff like that. But it's another way we've kind of gotten better as the years has progressed. As a lot of outfitters, they'll run as much as they can, as many dates as they can throughout the year, and we got it down to about 5.5 to 6.5 weeks of the whole season is what we operate for. So we're not operating and having the properties have people on them all season long. It's a very short period of time. We'll operate for a couple weeks, take a couple weeks off, operate a couple more weeks, let it cool down. That way the deer are always fresh. We always got new big bucks coming onto the properties. We constantly feed, whereas a lot of people don't, and things like that. So it's drawing these big deer in and it's holding them there all season long.
The deer kills are way down.
Yeah.
In Ohio. I think that's because hunters are way down.
Yeah, hunters are down.
And I think deer tags are way down.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are turned into landowners.
Yeah, they for the most part, there for several years, it was where I wouldn't say we didn't see as many, but when you drive past the field, you wouldn't really notice the deer like they used to be. Yeah. They're starting to come back. We got some properties that are just overran with deer.
No, why do you think the deer kills are down? You think we're down in deer?
No, I don't think that we're down in deer. I think people in general, most properties are leased now. And most people are being super picky about what they kill. So I think that has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, your deer drives and things like that aren't happening anymore.
That's virtually almost unheard of now.
It really is, because you don't have the people aren't going out and hunting like they used to. Like, it was pretty well when you and I were in school and when you was in school, guys like me and you, I missed a majority of that week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They don't do that anymore, I don't think, for gun season.
And I think, and maybe it was always like this, seems like there's a lot of guys that are just wanting to hunt for a trophy deer.
Yeah.
Or they're not taking shots at anything else.
They're bow hunting.
100%.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah. So when you used to have people, hunting, it's brown, it's down type of mentality.
Yeah.
Of course the numbers are going to be up. Now everybody's trying to grow big deer. Everybody's doing deer management on their properties. I know very few people that really aren't.
Yeah.
That's so far and few in between now.
Yeah.
Which is good. It's good for everybody. It helps grow big deer. I mean, that's why Ohio's killed as many as they have, and they're known for having big deer.
Well, when you talk about management like that, what is the proper way to do that? Like, how do you do that on your properties to assure that you always have these monsters coming in?
Well, you're not going to always be able to assure that you have those type of deer. I mean, they're free range wild. So, I mean, they may float in between you and one or two other neighbors. Hopefully your neighbors have the same standards you do. Okay. But if if you have, deer are judged off of 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, all the way up till 8.5 or 9. Most deer don't live past that around here, but you got to pass them 2-year-olds up and the 3-year-olds and really go after the 4 and plus. Okay. And that's where they're going to, from 3 to 4 on my properties, they take the biggest jump.
Okay.
They'll put on 30 or 40 inches of antler just in one season. 4 and 5.
Is it because your feed program?
Yeah, feed program. They're getting a lot of minerals. We have like 90 plus mineral stations. Most people don't do minerals. We do it. That way, whenever even for the females, whenever they're raising their babies and things like that, milk production, things like that, they're getting all that. Yep.
Yeah. So it's no different than us.
Yes. Yeah. 100%.
So what? Like for me, I live right in the middle of basically an Amish community.
Sure.
No deer management hardly.
No,
if it's brown, it's down. Because they're it's hard to manage deer in that situation.
Sure.
It goes across their property.
I mean, they're just hunting for meat. I mean,
pretty much, and you run into that a lot, I'm sure.
Yeah, we have some Amish around.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, I tell you what, they decimate the deer population.
They will.
Yeah, they'll come into an area, and I mean, they'll hunt anything that they can.
They do a lot of illegal stuff.
Yeah, they do.
And if you talk to the warden, he can fill you in on it.
Yeah, they do.
He'll vouch.
They honestly, I mean, even fishing, trapping, all that stuff. They have no rules.
Right.
They just do whatever they want to do, and I've noticed. And I mean, however they want to do it, that's fine. I'm not here to judge, but they'll decimate wildlife.
Little young kids, walking down the main road 4 mile Franklin Valley,
middle of summer with a 12, with loaded shotgun, ready to kill anything that moves. Yeah, and that's whatever. I mean, whatever they got to do, I guess, to eat.
It's just unfortunate. You just keep your fingers crossed you ain't got a bunch of Amish neighbors.
Really? Yeah.
Because that completely decimates your population.
It could, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and just like, that deer that he's been raising this summer, whenever it doesn't have any horns, if they want to and it's standing in the backyard, they'll walk out there and pop it. And they didn't know that deer was the same deer that was going to be a 180 class deer this year.
Yeah, right.
And I mean,
makes no difference to them.
Makes no difference, yeah. So, I mean, that's, I don't know how I feel about all that, but I know we fought that. The boys out around the house, they fought that a lot.
Yeah.
I got the guys are all around me. All my neighbors, they try to manage their deer.
Yeah.
You got some Amish neighbors out there.
Well, yeah. But I mean, the Amish will take care of my other neighbors that are managing their deer. Yes. If those deer get on there, they try like hell to keep those deer off. By feed, by everything.
To draw them off.
To draw them off of that property. Yeah.
Hey, Chubbies, how many points do you have on the McDonald's app? We all know and love the McDonald's app, and we want to thank Brad and Sarah Munn for being a great sponsor of our show and of our communities here in Jackson, Oak Hill, Wellston, and MacArthur. McDonald's, check them out.
It's tough, but I know you had at one time that I know of probably 5 or 6 cabins.
Yeah.
Like different farm style cabins. You had an indoor arena.
Yep.
You had, at one time that thing was just blown up huge, and that was whenever you and I kind of lost track of each other after that, because I kind of left the horse business to an extent. But I mean, that was probably at the biggest, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, that was probably.
It came with a lot of headaches,
and you were stressed.
Yeah, yeah.
You was running around.
Now we
crazy.
have one really big cabin. And then we have another.
The original.
No, I got one on 4 Mile. That's our biggest. And then I have one on Jackson Furnace that is almost as big as what it is.
Yeah.
And then we have a bunkhouse, which we'll sleep 4. And then we have an Airbnb that, if requested, we could use that as well. Now, we don't operate out of all 4 places at once, typically, but at least we have some options that if somebody doesn't want to stay in a lodge with 10 other guys, they could stay there if they wanted to.
Yeah.
And our lodges are nice, man. My one lodge is a $350,000 home, log home on 80 acres, you know what I mean? So, it's nice. I mean, but at the same time, some people want their privacy and they want their space. So that's what them smaller little places are for.
Are you still doing like fully service, like cooking and all that?
Oh, yeah.
Are you?
Yeah, they love that. Yeah.
Do they really?
So like you provide entertainment while they're down there.
Yeah, it's basically like an all-inclusive trip.
He usually has entertainment.
Yeah, so I mean, you were saying you played music out there?
Yeah.
Well, you've had a lot of big names.
Bud used to tap dance.
I had to get shirtless for that one guy. Yeah, it got a little weird.
But yeah, man, we got, like Tim Silva, the USC champ. He hunted with me this past year. Jury Outdoors, the biggest name in the outdoor industry, they hunted with me this past year. Kip Campbell from Red Arrow Television. All these guys are on the outdoor channel. Even to be on the outdoor channel, they have to select you. And then in order to have that show, you're putting up close to 7 figures, if not more than that, to even air your show on that network. And so for us to have one of those shows, 22 and a half minutes, done about us, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars in ads, basically, in advertising, except we're not paying for a commercial. They come and they hunt with us. We put them on a big deer, hopefully. Yeah. And, and then they have enough to be able to make a good show out of it. So,
how much time are you spending right now scouting deer?
Right now, none. It's all turkey. But we're about ready to kick into deer mode as soon as turkey season's over with. We'll start feeding because legally you can't feed during turkey season. Okay. So we'll start feeding here soon. They already got their minerals. We already got pictures of bucks in with their horns, developing and stuff like that. But we'll really pump in cameras out, and start just filtering social media with all these big deer, you know, that we're
That's
getting
what you're
pictures
good at. You're good at just flood. Lusk loves to flood social media. I mean, oh man.
Do you do all that yourself, Dave?
Yeah,
he does.
You have to.
Yeah, he does.
And
I
then
like
do
to.
you,
I
do you
like
have
to be in
do you have a
touch.
lot of other guys like that help you with like the feeding and the scouting and all that
Yeah,
stuff?
usually I have like one. Well, during the summer I have one other person that will help run the farms, and then during season, I have several guides that help us out, and they've all been with me for quite some time.
Okay.
Like I tell everybody whenever they call me on the phone, these guys that work for me, they're just like me. They want the customers to come back, get to know them first name basis. They genuinely have the customer's best interest at heart, and they want to put them on big deer. That's why some people have the mentality like they're afraid to work, that an outfitter is going to put them in a bad spot just to get their money, and they don't care where they put them at. And I said, well, that's not how you resell hunts or rebook hunts, is by putting people in lousy spots. You sell hunts by putting people and taking care of them, putting them in good spots, and
then next year's easy.
Exactly. Yep. 100%.
Then you take the sales aspect out of it.
This is the easiest I've ever booked hunts in my life. I mean, the amount of big deer that we kill, the amount of pictures that we put out of these, tremendous animals, in our area. Most people from even locally, they're like, that's not from around here. It is. Yeah. It's on our farms. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and then you just go from there. And then, I stay in touch. I'm the one that does all the social media, reaching out to customers, answering all the phone calls, emails, Messenger, things like that.
That has to stress you out there.
It does a little bit, because it's just like anything else. You're constantly working. Like people say, well, would you get a day off? Well, really, truly, you don't get a day off.
As long as you're carrying your phone.
No, if I got my phone, I work from my phone. If I'm carrying my phone, you're not. I mean, it may, but if you want food on your table, you better make that message count, or you better call the customer back or whatever, because it's my livelihood. So.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, that'll wear on you. That'll wear your skin pretty thin. I mean, that's I hadn't talked to you about the hunting business since those days, I guess, but I mean, I knew at that time you were huge. Yeah. And then the next time I see you, you're in shape and you're tattooed. I said,
a lot of things change in 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, you're divorced, or almost, so you,
well, it's just one of those things, man. Whenever you work at the hospital full time, you're launching a business that's so busy you don't even hardly have time for it. And
how big did you get to at one time
with the Southern Ohio Outfitters?
No, your weight.
Oh, weight. I was like 260.
What are you
somewhere
now?
I'm into 240s. I've only lost about 15 pounds, but my body composition
just replaced.
But you were probably 40% body fat.
Exactly.
And now you're probably 11, 15?
Yeah, thereabouts. Yeah. And so, but back then, it's just I did not physically have the energy to want to go or the drive to go to the gym. And I really honestly didn't have the know-how. It wasn't until I really delved into the fitness industry, started really reading and what, tracking my macros and seeing how
you got ate up into running.
Yeah, that's how it all started. Yeah, I started doing marathons and half marathons, 5Ks.
We ran out to Lake Catherine one morning.
Oh, that was brutal.
You smoked my ass out to Lake Catherine.
Almost had a heart
I'm getting the idea that this guy does not do anything halfway.
Listen, Lusk,
he doesn't do anything halfway. Hey, I'm going to run. I'm going to run some marathons.
Lusk is a maniac. He's everything Lusk does, is full go. Okay, that's what you got to know about the guy. Yeah. He's a maniac.
Yeah. Hey, Chubbies, when was the last time you had somebody take a look at your life insurance? It's something that nobody likes to talk about. But one thing I know about Pudge is he's coming to your funeral. You might as well have him show up with a check and take care of those loved ones. That's the time when they need it the most. He's writing it every day. Come have that conversation with him and get it done. And by the way, if you own a business and you haven't let Pudge quote your commercial insurance, you're making a mistake. Let him check it out. Make sure you got proper coverage for the best value on the market. Gillum Insurance for all your insurance needs. 740-395-0190.
You started off running, and we were both at the Commons at that time.
Yeah.
And I remember that was probably about the same. That might have been 14 or 15, 2014, 15. and you got ate up into that, and you ran a marathon, didn't you?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so you went from basically no sports, no nothing other than like you were just a country bumpkin. Your activity was packing tree stands in boots.
Yep, exactly.
You know, in the hills. I mean, you could walk.
I would work out. I would take spurts and work out and play ball, you know, on the ball court and stuff like that throughout my life. But I never did really delve into it full time. I never gave it enough time to. I'm like a lot of people to where, you know, somebody wants to see instant results.
Yeah,
and there is no instant results.
Yeah,
you're not running a race. It's a marathon in a lot of ways as far as, you know, changing your body. You know, this is a long thing over time that it takes. So that's where a lot of people fail is they, you know, these fad diets and things like that. They want to see something happen in 2-4 weeks. Well, you can see some weight change and see how your body changes in 6 to 8, you know, and then, you know, from there on out, you'll start to see, but it's not until you really get in the gym consistently, start putting resistance on your muscles and things like that, that you'll see them change.
So you whenever you did that, how much weight did you lose when you got into marathon?
I got down to 211. So I was like 50 pounds.
How long did it take you to go from 0 to running a marathon?
Probably about a year. Something like that.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, somewhere in the area of that.
And then as soon as that marathon ended, though, you got bit by the powerlifting bug.
Yeah, because I was in Iron City and I was on a treadmill, and it was probably like 10, 11 o'clock at nighttime, and I was just running my balls off in there. And a friend of mine he popped in. He goes, "What are you doing?" Like I said, running. He goes, "Dude, get off that treadmill and start lifting weights like that." And I was like, yeah. He's like, "You can lift with me whenever you want," like that. And I said, okay. Well, I took him up on it, started lifting, and you know, I'm just the type I can put weight on easy. I put muscle on fast, and I can see results fairly quick, and especially with strength. So
especially at 211.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Yeah, and so I started squatting and benching and things like that, deadlifting, and it just kind of took off from there. You know, and then when I really started, I got some real good buddies that have trained at a famous gym up in Columbus called Westside Barbell, and those guys are maniacs. And so they got a place in Waverly called Crooked Creek Barbell, and these guys are focused 100% primarily on powerlifting. And so they brought the knowledge that they've gotten throughout all these years of lifting, you know, 18, 20 years of lifting. And they're, you know, as long as you're invited in there, you know, they'll teach you everything to know and things like that. And I just kind of exploded from there, and I got really good numbers.
Give me an example on like power. So like Chad and I are big, you know, we grew up in Chad was my coach. And, you know, he taught me, so I'm assuming Chad is what he knows. Yeah. But he was, you know, back whenever we grew up, and I know it's changed now, especially in the fitness world, but I would consider what we did back in the 90s basically powerlifting.
Oh, absolutely. Football teams, that's what we were doing.
That's what we were doing. Yeah. So, I mean, you know.
Olympic lifts.
Yeah. We were throwing a lot of weight on the bench press, you know, throwing it around a lot.
Pyramids. I mean, yeah.
What would be like in that powerlifting world, other than just throwing a lot of weight on, what is the difference compared to just throwing a lot of weight on or working out?
Well, it's just, man, the way they structure it, like at Crooked Creek, is you have max effort days and you have speed days. So you'll have one max effort bench day a week, and you'll have one speed bench day a week. You'll have max effort lower body, and you'll have speed lower body. So if you're doing low body, squats, deadlifts, you know, things that require low body effort, you'll do, say you're squatting heavy one day, you know, you'll come in and you'll, you know, basically superset that with some kind of deadlifts that may be 50% of what your max would be or something like that, and you're doing reps.
Are you doing high rep schemes on that?
3 to 5.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
That's where you're going to get most of your strength at, is 4 to 6 reps. Yeah. You know, that's where you gain your most strength. And so, you know, there's just tons and tons of accessories. You'll do good mornings. I don't know if you know what a good morning is.
I've heard of that.
Good mornings where you put heavy weight on your back just like you would squat, and you literally bend over, stand up, bend over at the waist, and then stand back up with it at the waist only, where you're engaging your glutes and your hamstrings, low back only. You know what I mean? And that's horrific when you're low back. But once you get strong in that's huge for squats, because the first thing that happens when somebody squats and they fail it, they lean forward. It buckles them over. So when you're making that low back, you know, your whole entire back strong, you're really got everything engaged, and you can, you know, it's not going to buckle you over. So like, you know, I started squatting 0, you know what I mean? And my last competition that I prepped for, which would have been this past deer season, because we use resistance bands and stuff like that. With the resistance bands and the regular weight that was on there, I had 965 on my back. Okay. And I squatted it successfully. So
965.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and
that's a lot of weight.
I'll have blood vessels busting my eyes, you know what I mean? Nosebleeds, stuff like that. That's not very often.
How much did you weigh whenever you did that?
I was in the 250s, so I was only about 10 pounds heavier than what I was right now.
So you, how much body fat percent?
I was probably like 18.
So you
16 to 18.
Whenever you say, so you squatted 965.
Yeah, with regular weight and plus resistance bands. That's what it added up to. But that's all. We take a scale and measure it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is that? How big is that squat considered? Like, is that parallel? Like, how do they
Parallel.
judge?
Yep. Just you got to be below parallel, not by a lot.
So parallel means your ass and your hams hammies are parallel together.
Knees is what they kind of consider. Yeah. Yep. You got to be below parallel.
And don't you have to go just a little bit below parallel?
Yep.
So what has to be parallel? Your knees and your butt?
No, it needs to go. Your butt needs to go just a little bit below parallel for it to be a clean lift. Then you go back up.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Parallel's just like the line that they use. It's demarcation, but you got to go just a little bit below that.
So whenever they say you got to go below parallel, then that means that lift your ass has to drop below your knees.
Absolutely.
And some guys, you know, whenever they go below parallel, their ass looks like it almost touches the floor.
Yeah.
I can't.
They'll load up.
I can't quite do that.
Are they loading up like that?
Well, I mean, just everybody has a different style
technique.
of technique.
Now, Dave, do you still do this all the time for competition, or have you kind of slowed down on that?
No, I'm full board. Now, right now, what I found works best for me is I've been doing one big cut a year.
Okay.
And I'll get down to like a super low body fat percentage, and usually I'll run that with Ju-jitsu, Muay Thai, and then I'll do like bodybuilding movements to let my body recover, let my tendons recover, you know, things like that, get them really stronger, focus on like a lot of reps, like 6 to 10 reps.
That'd be like, you do that for a month, or how long do you do that?
Usually like 5 months, 6 months.
Okay. So it kind of gives your body a break from
and
the
then I'll
heavy weight.
usually, what I've been doing is, and then I'll gear up and in the wintertime, because it works out good because we're getting fed good at the lodge and things like that. So I got access to as much food as I want. Right. I can just eat my brains out, you know, during the fall, and then have a competition in January, February, you know, somewhere like that, and then come off of that and go straight into a cut for the summertime. So and that works out great. The last time I did that, I literally put almost 100 pounds on my deadlift. I put 175 pounds on my squat, I think.
And it's not like you're really it's not like you're resting the muscles, but it's just
but when you put massive amounts of weight and strain on your muscles all the time, all year long, I've had a few injuries and my body just does not like it. Some people work better like that, but for me personally, I like still, you know, lifting heavy, but I just don't put that much strain on my body. So I focus more on just building muscle instead of building just strength. So
you still doing Muay Thai?
I've had to step away a little bit.
Yeah, I did just because of baseball.
Yeah, it just trying to do the you know, launching the mowing business and things like that. Like, it's just, I can't lift and do jiu-jitsu and the mowing business and run Southern Ohio Outfitters. You know, you can't do everything. You know what I mean? So you guys you got to take a run at something for a little while, you know, and then back off a little bit.
That's weird. You were talking about that, and I've been having the same exact thought that you just had about how you kind of, you know, your life now, like, your year, you know, you can do one cut a year, like, you know, like the fighting stuff and the Muay Thai and the, you know, I do that kickboxing and the boxing stuff. Yeah. That's going to be, I think, my wintertime kind of thing. Yeah. Because I tell you, I absolutely love.
Yeah, you were ate up with that, man.
I still am, but man, I love mountain biking. You know, and I mean, it is a great time to mow.
So when it's nice outside, you want
yeah, like I mean, and I'm still going to do my fighting stuff, but I like I just if it's
better in the winter.
Yeah, that's a wintertime sport.
Well, when it's nice and you've been in, so you know you work in the office, Gillum Insurance all day long, not getting to see the pretty weather out, and then you go from that straight into a gym. You know, or studio setting, you know what I mean, where we're doing Muay Thai and stuff like that, you're still not seeing it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So mountain biking, man, that's a good relaxation.
Oh, that fresh air. I mean, man, flying down those hills and just having that air hit me, I just love it. And I mean, I'm really looking forward to this summer doing some serious mountain biking. Yeah. But I loved that Muay Thai, man. We had a good time in there.
Oh, yeah.
He was my partner until he started bringing his woman. He left me. You know, he left
well, you
me.
can't blame him.
You know, gosh, Dave, what am I supposed to do now?
I can't hit her as hard as I was Pugs.
Yeah. My God, that one guy that was in there, I forget what his name was. My God, that was the kickingest man I ever felt in my life. He kicked. I mean, he kicked hard. It was fun though. I actually, Joe messaged me on my birthday. And I told him I couldn't wait to get back. I'm gonna try jiu-jitsu. I'm gonna come in and roll with you guys. Yeah,
I like the way I like I'm hearing that.
Yeah, I will try to come in.
Now, have you been doing this stuff for a good while?
Yeah, I'm a single stripe blue belt, which takes about I don't know. I mean, if you just go at it at a moderate pace, I mean, you're looking at like 3 years. Okay, you know, something like that.
You've been at it for a while then.
Yeah.
Well, but how long did it take you to do that?
Yeah.
How long did it take you to do that?
For a blue belt?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, about 3 years. Yeah.
Well, then that's not a moderate pace.
Yeah, because
it
probably takes most people 6 because we've already established you guys some main.
Yeah, you don't. That's then. Yeah. Well, it would take a 20-year-old's 3 years.
The hard problem is that when I'm training for a powerlifting competition, the jiu-jitsu fights against it. Because it's so much cardio that it it just depletes my energy levels.
Is it more than Muay Thai?
What's that?
The jiu-jitsu.
Is it
cardio?
more than yes.
You think so?
Absolutely, 100%.
Really?
I've literally almost thrown up, and there's nothing that makes me almost throw up, but jiu-jitsu has. Yeah, when you get a big dude, especially when you get a big dude on top of you,
like Marco,
and he's smothering you, you know, or whatever, and you've already exhausted your energy to try to not get in that position, and then you have somebody laying on top of you just trying to choke you out, and you're struggling for your breath, and you know, every time you take a breath in, you know, as soon as you take a breath in, more pressure goes in, you know, around your diaphragm, stuff like that. Like, it gets exhausting, like, you know, just the not being able to breathe part of it, you know, but that's just one of those things, like learning how to keep somebody off of you, you know, and create space, you know, around your head, neck, and airways and things like that. Like, that's stuff that most people don't think of.
Knowing the Muay Thai and the jiu-jitsu, where are you going first? Well, you're a blue belt. I know where you're going first.
Yeah, I'm going to try to break your knee probably.
Yeah, but what, like, I mean, you know, like in
in a bar setting or
you don't
whatever,
want to go to the ground.
No, in a bar setting, the first thing is somebody's going to probably try to sucker punch you.
Yeah,
and that's classic. One of the white belt curriculum courses that we talk about. You know, being in just a ready for someone to strike, so like Gracie always taught, you just stand there kind of like this, just real nonchalant. And that way if somebody does strike, you're ready to go.
Do you see what Joe put on there?
Yeah.
Hey, if you ever, I will give you a piece of advice.
Yeah.
If you ever see a man in a setting, okay, Joe, I'm not trying to tell your secrets. Yeah. But I love you, Joe. If you ever see a man sitting there like this, don't hit that one.
Because he's had training.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Well, odds are he's at why. So tell Chad why he's doing that.
Well, it's super easy. If somebody goes to, sucker punch you or things like that, and you're not far enough away to keep them from punching you. That's going to be your quickest way to be able to.
You've got your hands in the right position.
You got your hands in the right position.
You're blocking the body.
You're going to block, probably both biceps or whatever, wrap them up around the waist, hopefully, and then you can take them down to the ground from there. Yeah. And it's like Joe always, taught us, like, this is to help you out in real life situations, but you're not there to agitate or start a fight or anything like that.
Right.
You're just
Calmer.
there to protect yourself. You're calmer. You're more, you know, you feel a lot more safe and, you know, things like that. And that's what the class is for, is to help people feel more safe, to be more confident, especially in a setting like that, because you just never know what could, you know, you get a bunch of drunk guys in a bar or whatever, you don't know who's going to start trouble or whatever, you know. So, and that's what that white belt curriculum course,
Is that
there at One Academy, that's what it's designed for.
Is that what it is? Kind of like, Ju-jitsu self-defense, basically, kind of.
Yes.
Well, so explain to me the gi. I don't know much about
So there's
jiu-jitsu.
gi and no gi.
Okay.
So you can go in and you can do jiu-jitsu with no gi, which means you would basically be in what you have on right now.
Or what do they call it? Rash guards.
Rash guards, yeah.
Which is like your skin tight.
Yeah. I just meant you wouldn't have a gi on. You'd almost be like in regular street clothes in a lot of ways. That's kind of what it replicates.
Okay.
So you're basically taking people down and putting them in chokeholds that you would maybe see, you know, maybe they're, you know, at a bar or whatever, and they only got a T-shirt or something like that. And you don't want to be thinking that all the jiu-jitsu that you've learned is going to work in a bar setting and someone's got a T-shirt on. How am I supposed to grab you around the collar and start yanking to choke you out if you don't have something to reach around and grab a hold of?
Okay.
So that's what a no-gi is really meant for,
Okay.
you know, situations like that. Now, gi, you know, could replicate something like a coat or a hoodie or something like that. Now, that's just something that, you know, people have worn for a very long time now, that, you know, just like karate and things like that.
You know what a gi is?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so, you know, they all have, and there's different style of gis and things like that. Jiu-jitsu has its own gi, but there's other martial arts that have different style, you know, looser in the shoulders and things like that. But when you have a gi on, that replicates a lot of like what is a hoodie or what is, you know, a coat or something like that. Like there's a lot, if I can get you in a choke with a gi and come across your neck, I'm going to be able to reach up into your coat, you know what I mean, or anything else, and get on your backside and, you know, yank, and you're going to be out pretty quick. So.
And if you can get on their back and get their backside, you're done.
Done for it.
It's over.
Yeah, you're not even worried. You know, then it's rear naked choke or any of those.
Yeah.
You know,
you get your hooks in, it's done.
Yeah, yeah.
I took such a deep dive into this stuff. I mean, it's amazing. I just think the athleticism involved with it.
Oh, it's crazy. It's all cardio.
Yeah.
The majority of it, just because being strong does help you out some, but that's not the tell all. I've had a lot of guys. I got choked out here not too long ago, passed me plumb out, and he's the smallest guy, one of the smallest guys in the class. But you know, it just sometimes depending on the choke.
Did you get like legit choked out?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How'd that feel?
Yeah. Well, I woke up when I was dreaming in my head that I was coming down a dirt road in a car. I totally like didn't realize that I was in, and when I woke up, I was face up and I had all these people looking at me, and I didn't know where I was at.
Did he know he choked you out?
No, not at first. No, because it was like super slow motion. Like we wasn't like we were.
I
Like,
ain't never been choked out. You ever been choked out?
No.
we were rolling in a very slow manner. I knew the choke he had me in. I actually stepped out of it and over top of it, but not quick enough. And it just happened so fast that, you know, with him being, you know, on my arteries, that by the time, you know, being bent over, getting choked and everything else,
So you were all bound up, right?
Yeah.
You're all bound up,
and I just slumped over on him.
and you just out.
Yeah, yeah. And
Did you see Diaz do that to that Logan Paul lookalike? Did you see how fast that was?
Yeah.
I mean, literally just out.
It's seconds. It's just seconds. Because a lot of times I'll know if I'm getting lightheaded, and I think just because of having a big experience with it with powerlifting, because I've always had a lot of pressure, you know, over the last so many years, feeling that pressure on my body, I've gotten lightheaded to the point of passing out a lot, especially when you put heavy weight on your central nervous system. And so,
Did you ever do that in lifting?
What's that?
Did you ever do that in lifting?
A little bit. I mean, not much. But
I'd felt like the adrenaline push up through your face and all that stuff. But I mean,
we went to
I
a
get
couple
the shakes. I'll
competitions.
get the shakes a lot, like the shakes you get like right before you pass out. I've gotten those a lot.
really,
Oh yeah, like your whole body will like almost like convulse. Not like crazy, but I mean you will. Most people wouldn't be able to. But anyways, you know, it's just one of those type of things where, you know, I know that pressure and what that feels like, and I can feel it coming on. You know, whereas maybe your ordinary, you know, person that's not into that wouldn't know that. So I could feel the pressure, you know, whenever that happened. But and even though I stepped out of it, like I said, we were rolling at not 100%. We was rolling at like 15 to 20. I said, that was the slowest, most calm pass out anybody's ever seen, so, but it just, and it happened, it was a baseball bat choke. So it's just like, the brunt of your arm, so, and wrapped up with my gi, and that's just how she wrote, man. You got to be, if you're going to play the game, you got to be willing to take the consequences.
How long were you out?
Just a matter of seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, but I felt like I had a really good nap. So,
Really?
Yeah, I did. I woke up when when I woke up, all these people were staying. It took me a second. I had to get a couple big breaths in. I popped up and then stood up, and 2 or 3 minutes later, I was back to rolling and trying to tap people.
I was wondering how that would affect you on the day. Chubbies, hey, we all know this guy. All the folks over at AP Prep, we cannot thank you enough. Look those guys up at apprep.info. We get asked all the time, hey, what happens? How do you get over there? Hey, that's how you do it. You get on apprep.info, you look them up, you set a time for your kid's assessment. They schedule a time, you bring your kid over there, boom, it's done. They get you right in the schedule. And hey, for all you adults, you just show up on Monday, Wednesday, or Thursday night at 5:30, and they got their boxing classes. It's $10, or you can join by the month. So look them up at apprep.info.
Yeah.
I listened to an old boxer today on a podcast, Peter McNeely. Yeah. You remember Peter McNeely, the guy that fought Tyson? Mm-hmm. Hey, if you guys ever get a chance, he talks about sleep apnea. He said that all of his brain trauma came 90% from sleep apnea because his nose was broken so many times fighting. He was a savage. He was 47-7. Okay. He was like 37-1 until he fought Tyson.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy was incredible. But he was a guy, midfield. Remember that guy? Remember he did all that? He's borderline a vegetable.
Really?
But he went down this dark path of drugs and alcohol, and him and Tyson became real big. But he talks about, and Tyson even talks about him on his podcast and talks about going to partying with him and all this stuff. But man, I've always wondered how like getting choked out would affect you, like getting hit in the head, because this guy, you could tell, been hit in the head.
Yeah.
I mean, get in the head. And I tell you what, like going back to our days, he brought out his junior high football helmet.
Yeah.
And you know what it looked like?
An egg, probably. Yeah.
Ours.
Yeah, just like the same ones we wore. Yeah.
And I mean, it was scarred up, beat up.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, now we didn't go on to a professional boxing career.
No.
Which I'm assuming was brutal. I mean, you take a shot from somebody.
That's a lot of punches, dude.
Well, you take a shot from somebody like that Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder or Francis Ngannou.
And that's not even taking into account all the punches he took in training.
Yeah.
In amateurs. In, Golden Glove. I mean, that dude, a boxing career is a long career. That's a lot of punches, man.
Lots.
Yeah. I mean,
I couldn't imagine that. I mean, just what you're doing to your just banging that brain around,
just a little bit of getting hit like Muay Thai and things like that. You're like, okay, you can see where, dudes get rocked. I mean, you can see. That's the one good thing though, like with One Academy over there, like with Joe Taylor, when he runs out, like everybody is such good people over there. Like
I had a great time.
No one, your goal.
No one's trying to
your goal is not to hurt your teammates. Your goal is not to pass somebody out.
Right.
That's not your goal. Your goal is to go in and teach and learn from each other and to help each other become better, and not injure, because that's your teammates.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Or whatever. Save that for the streets or for something like competition or something like that.
I never went over and thought that I was in trouble or thought never did. I mean,
no, every one of us, me and Marty Jacobs and just a bunch of other ones, like super friendly rolling, what I mean?
Yeah.
We're there to get better. We'll get each other in chokes, but it's like, put somebody in choke. Hey, bud, you all right? You all right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
good job.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the whole goal. That's what it should be. If you want to try to be a badass and come in there and hurt people, stay out. Like that's not for you.
Yeah.
It was. I really enjoyed my time over there. Like I said, I told Joe I'm hoping to come back and hoping to do the jiu-jitsu. I just would like to add that the doctors, coincidentally enough, I haven't had the gout, and I haven't been kicking.
Yeah. Well, it's probably got something to do with it then.
I know, but I enjoyed it, man. We had fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fun for me over there. I enjoyed it. So let's talk about this mowing.
Yeah, man. You started a mowing business.
Yeah,
that sounds like you're busy enough.
We're going to give away.
Yeah.
Well, so what are we giving away?
Yes, sir. We're going to give away free lawn care for throughout the summer.
Okay.
To
Oh,
lucky
my.
winner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what do they got to do?
They just got to go to
We can make
Fresh
this.
Cuts.
We can
Facebook.
we can clip this post right here.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell them right now. Boom. What do we got to do?
You just go to Lusk Fresh Cuts, like the Facebook page there. Go to you all's Facebook page, like that page.
Okay.
That's all you got to do to enter.
So they have to like both of our pages.
Yes.
And as long as you like both of our pages,
You got a chance to win.
you got a chance to win.
Yep.
All right. Cool. Yeah. So
It's real,
awesome.
real super simple, and our goal in doing this is just to provide a good quality lawn mowing service. And although there are lots of people doing it, the one thing that I've come about seeing from some of just talking to customers, within town and things like that, is just guys not being reliable and guys not showing up when they're supposed to show up, and people saying they're going to give estimates and not giving estimates. And if I tell you I'm going to be there at 10 a.m., I'm going to be there either at 10
you know
a.m.
the
or
difference.
earlier.
You know the difference.
What's that?
You're doing it.
Yeah.
You know,
Right. Yeah,
I mean,
just having a professional background and then already being a business owner and things like that.
because what's happened is, I think, around is like guys, and I mean, it's no fault of theirs. It's you've experienced it. In some things I've experienced it, but it's hard to find people to work.
Yes.
And it's this most business owners anymore, if you don't plan on running that business hands on yourself in the beginning stages of that and getting that thing off the ground, you just can't do it.
No, I was actually talking to a fellow that's really well known in the Jackson area for doing the exact same thing. And it's like me and him was talking, trying to take somebody that don't have any experience on an expensive zero-turn mower, paying $15,000-$16,000 for that mower, turning them loose on it, and then praying to God that they don't tear it up.
They don't hit a water,
yes,
a meter cover,
yes,
or run over the flower beds, or they're
because
not.
that piece of equipment isn't theirs. They're not making the payments. They're not putting it out. And I've experienced that same thing with my other businesses, buying new UTVs and having them wrecked and the frames bent and things like that. And you name it, it can happen. And it just stems from people not treating the business like it's their own.
No pride.
Right. No, not respecting the money that came out of your pocket. To them, it's just get the job, get it done as quick as possible.
It's the world we live in, and I mean, people don't even hand wash their cars anymore.
Right.
When's the last time you went by and seen somebody hand washing their car in their driveway? Right. That used to be a weekly thing in every house.
Yep.
I don't think that anybody has the pride that like we all once had. I mean, certainly some people do, but I mean, I think that would be just tough, to just hire somebody. And that's been the biggest difference I've seen out of your businesses. I mean, man, when you say you're coming to cut the grass, it's you.
Yeah, right.
I thought for sure the first time you showed up to cut the grass, I thought, well, I wonder who Dave's got. I figured it'd be your deer hunting people.
Yeah, I just, it's just one of those type of things where this business will always be ran like that.
Uh-huh.
Cynthia has been hands-on with me,
yeah.
And things like that.
You act like you enjoyed it.
I love it.
Dude, you were so slow.
It's so
the first time I was like, "Is he okay?"
It's so much different that, like I told her, I said it's so much different than my other business because I got all this pressure to help them succeed.
I had to watch for a second, and I was like, "Is he okay? He's going so slow. He's doing this perfect."
Yeah. I mean, he's enjoying it, man.
Yeah, and he was enjoying it. Just going along.
Like you made a comment earlier. You said, "I like to turn my hobbies." Into businesses.
Yeah.
And it's almost like down that road of what's the quote, like, do something that you love and you'll never work a day in your life or something like that. I mean, do you just like being outside and doing that kind of thing?
You're not stuck inside, you're outside, kind of like mountain biking or whatever. Taking pictures of his chickens. I know that thing's always happy whenever some bugs get thrown its way. It's out there begawking.
Yeah. I mean, I did. I remember looking out there. I was like, that's a bitch. He's enjoying himself. Hey guys, huge thanks out there to everybody down at Geiger Brothers Construction. Those guys as a whole unit have just been wonderful for the Chubbies. We appreciate each and every one of you hardworking people out there that listens to us. And thank you, Geiger Brothers Construction, for all your project needs. Give those guys a call, 740-286-0800.
Yeah. But it's so much different than my other business because like we have all this immense pressure from the customers on them succeeding in killing a wild animal that's out of our hands.
Yeah.
Hey, that's hard, dude.
Yeah. So with this business, it's simple. You go in, you work hard, you show up when you're supposed to, when you tell people you're going to, you check the job out to make sure it's good, and you're done. Like people are happy. You know what I mean? It's like there is no recourse.
Mom loves it.
Yeah.
Mom's tickled to death. She's like, oh my gosh. She's like, that Dave's really good. I know, Mom. I was like, he's going to take over the grass cutting industry. I was like, Mom, you don't understand. I even told her I was in that text. I was like, Mom, I've known Dave forever. Just trust me, he's going to be fine. He's good at what he does.
Yeah. I pride myself on just having a good reputation and really just honestly telling people if I'm going to do something.
You do.
Like when me and you first got together, I said, hey, I want to advertise with you guys. What can we work out? We started, and there's probably some things you probably didn't think I was real serious about it. And then, hey, I'm going to show up and mow your grass. And we started, just kicking it off. And I said I was going to do it, and I did it, just like, giving estimates and things like that with people, and
well, so. And it wasn't, back then it wasn't that we're still figuring this out.
Yeah.
We don't know, whenever you mentioned that, it was like, okay, well, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
It's okay. Well, how do we do this?
Yeah.
What do you want to do here?
Yeah.
We've recently had to make some changes in this business. We feel like this podcast is Chad and I love doing this. This is we've talked about it a lot. It's super fun for us.
Absolutely.
We get to talk to some great people.
Oh
yeah.
It's something that we always want to do no matter what. Does it have to make money? No. However, these things take money to run.
Right.
They really do.
Yep.
We need to upgrade a lot of stuff. We need to overhaul this studio. It's time to overhaul this. This is our fourth studio.
Yeah. We've moved around.
Yeah. We've had fourth or fifth studio that I can think of that we've had to shift around and do differently.
Yeah, probably.
So, and that costs money every single time. We've had to upgrade this. We need to upgrade our camera systems. It's just super expensive stuff. And it just takes money if you want to keep up with it. It just takes money. So, therefore, you got to just, how do you do it? And you're always thinking in your mind, what's the best way to do it? And in your business, my business, you're actually dealing with, our business, you're dealing with the guys that actually make the decisions.
Right.
So sometimes you just kind of get that deer in the headlight look like, well, I don't know.
Hey, might as well try it.
Let's see what happens. Are you getting anything from our advertising?
Yeah, I feel like we are.
Do you?
Yeah. Well, just honestly, regardless of whether you see something direct or a lot of times it comes indirectly.
Like, do you hear people mentioning your name? Hey, saw your name on the Chubbies or something like that?
Yeah, that and just we've been getting quite a few likes. It seems to be just constantly building up and things like that.
Just another piece of your marketing puzzle, man.
Yeah,
as you're starting.
Whenever when it comes to like. Working with you guys, it's not, it shouldn't be looked at as being one of those, okay, I'm not going to do anything else except advertise with you guys and put all that pressure on you guys. Sure. And if you're looking at it that way, you're doing things ass backwards.
Yeah. Right.
You got to have your fingers dipped into so many different avenues, social media, you guys have social media, word of mouth. Word of mouth is king.
Yeah, referrals is king.
Yeah, it's this, they don't get any
what
better
a warm
than that.
source. Yeah.
So
what, how do you think that people now, you're kind of cutting edge on this stuff, I would say. How do you think people are consuming a lot of their just basic daily stuff now? Like, would you say it's all, I got to looking at our numbers the other day. Did you 90, I meant to tell you this, 90, it was while we were on the phone with Jared last night. 90% of our views are on their phones. And statistically, that's where everybody is viewing everything. Like, I bet TV sales are at an all-time low.
Probably so. I know some of them are for sure. Yeah.
Videos
always do much better than just a regular post would.
Do you think it's Facebook? You think it's Instagram? You think it's TikTok? You think it's
for me
YouTube?
Personally, it's Facebook.
You've always been a big Facebook guy.
That's always Instagram. you'll reach some people, but they're not
bots.
They're not, well, it seems like Instagram people are there for the pictures and things like that. And they'll see some pictures and they'll, occasionally, will hit me up on, it's your Facebook family that's on there or fans that are really, they're just more, it's just hard to describe. It's like they're more vested.
They seem a little more interactive.
Yes.
Like, that's where they'll send you a message or something 100%. Like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever I get, we'll post a kill or just a good experience, or especially videos. Like there was a video, we were recovering a big buck down in Soda County, and it had went through the little Soda River, and it was less than 20 degrees out, snowing, and I was neck deep in water wading that.
Yeah.
And I had, I was just doing a selfie video as I went, because you just
You're in the water.
Yeah, I was in the water, and you just can't explain what that really feels like. You know what I mean? I was like, all right, I'm going to video this, because I had a blood trail all the way down this super steep hill, and it stopped at the creek. And I was like, he's either the other side or he died here in the water somewhere, and there was no way to get. I wasn't climbing back up the mountain, so I was going to cross, and so I ended up finding him, and he was in the water, so I had to re-get in the water, and it took 3 of us to get him up out of there, or whatever. But like that video had hundreds of thousands of views, and it's just, that's how you reach your customers. People like to be interactive. They like to feel like they're a part of what you're doing. People like to be able to, put a face with, a company and things like that. Like that, all that stuff is super, super important. So
what do you, so you kind of look at it like YouTube is YouTube, and you use it for like informational, where we're using YouTube as our kind of, we use YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcasts as like our kind of 3 major platforms.
Yeah, I just use honestly Facebook and Instagram.
What do you use YouTube for?
I don't use it for anything. I used to use it for TV, and that's where we would run our commercial or our TV slots, because your advertisers liked it, because they were getting a lot more exposure too, whenever they were on their advertising.
So you don't even watch it on, what do you watch for television now? Like Facebook clips?
What do I watch for I watch YouTube. Yeah, I watch YouTube videos and things like that. I personally do. I just don't have any business stuff on there.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
What are you watching for television? Spectrum?
No, some. Netflix.
Yeah.
Dude, I honestly, my main media consumption is podcasts. Then I'll be binge watching something on Netflix.
Are you called? So are we?
And then sports. Like, I'll use Spectrum on my Roku to watch,
Reds or
NFL stuff like that.
So are you guys calling? Do you think that and Humphrey's opened my eyes up to this? Are you guys calling like podcast basically anything with a microphone that's not on mainstream? Like,
yeah, well, like I don't really watch the podcast.
But if it's available,
I listen to it on like.
Would you call Geraldo a modern day podcast?
Well, I essentially it probably could be, if there's an audio version. That probably wouldn't be one that would draw my attention, but I think every show that's worth its salt now. Even if you look at guys that are popular, like let's say on the radio or ESPN television, like they are taking some form of their daily show and chopping that up into a podcast form. And the fact that they're doing that tells me that's how most people are consuming their media.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't be doing that if everybody was just watching the show.
Yeah. And it's like,
listening to the radio. Who listens to the radio in their car now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe satellite radio.
Right. There's still a few people that are going to tell me that they do.
Yeah.
But I would think 1 or 2 out of 10.
Well, and let's be honest, if you're playing the numbers, the folks that are still listening to the radio, probably, this is going to sound bad, that's not who you're marketing to, man.
No, yeah, because you can't define it.
No.
And like, what YouTube will do, if you have, where you've got that account and you're signed in the same way as Spotify, you can tell who, what, when, where, age. I can tell you that they watched it on their phone or their TV.
Well, and the thing is, the fact that they know that, then I'm a Spotify customer, also a YouTube customer.
Yeah.
When I go to my feed, they're always putting up new ideas. Hey, listen to this.
Yeah.
Listen to that.
Yeah.
they know what I want to listen to.
Me too.
That algorithm.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
keeps me in the game on what I like.
Yeah. And that's kind of, I mean, I think that's the new way of doing things.
Do you think that has caused like maybe a mental happiness for you? Because like I've noticed that since I've kind of geared in, like, you know, I like my fighting stuff. You like your fight. You love your sports.
Oh yeah.
You love your bourbons.
Yeah.
That's what your news feed is full of now. That's what your news feed is full of.
Yeah.
And that's what mine is. And now that I've kind of got that honed in and I've kind of eliminated the minutia of all the other bullshit.
Yeah.
Don't you think it kind of brings along like a mental calmingness?
I've been doing this now for a while, you know, with my job, I have to drive a lot.
Yeah.
And I mean, you want to talk about changing the face of a road trip.
I bet you look forward to it.
Well, yeah. I'm like, I can knock out 3 or 4 episodes of that.
Oh, I love a good drive.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm like, how many Rogan episodes can I get in?
Well, and listen, man, I can't go to sleep at night.
Yeah.
Without listening to something.
I go to sleep with headphones on.
Yeah, me too. And I generally.
Do you?
No.
I'll listen to that's when I get my daily news or something. I'll listen to something at the end of the day. Like
I listen to Rogan in bed. I go to sleep with a set of headphones on.
Joe Rogan's got some good stuff on.
He does.
Oh man, he never gets boring, man.
No.
What do you listen to a lot of those fighter stuff? Have you gotten ate up into that?
That, and I like Joe Rogan's podcast a lot. I mean, he's talking about not only fighting but just a lot of interesting topics and things like that. Whether you just never know what he's.
I used to never watch these fighting ones, and now I do.
See, I like those, and I like the comedians, but I got to admit, lately I've been kind of staying away from the comedian ones. I like when he has just some dude on there that's going to talk about. Diaz. I like when he has some guy on there that wrote a book about like aliens or something like that.
You like those ones?
Yeah. I love those.
I like
where he takes those deep dives like that. I think that's awesome.
I like the Joey Diaz ones.
Yeah.
I like that guy. Or Bill Burr. I like him.
Those are funny, man.
Yeah. I like the funny stuff. Yeah. And I like there's another guy that I've been watching, the Mike Tyson hot boxing. I still stay on that. I've been watching the damn Nelk Boys.
I've not seen that.
Hell, they've had Trump on.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
They've had
they got some interesting stuff.
I mean, when do you get a chance to hear Trump in a podcast? Yeah. They've had some there's been a lot of guys that I've been listening to, but guys that are popping up that you wonder what happened to have all been on a podcast.
Oh yeah. I just think that's, like I said, people that have already made it in radio and TV are now dropping podcasts. Yeah. I mean, they're taking it from their show, and I just wonder how much longer they're going to keep their show and then just roll it. Like Ryan Russillo, I don't know if you ever heard of him. He was a big ESPN guy for years, left and went to the Ringer, and now all he does is a podcast. Really? No more radio shows, nothing. He does a podcast, and it's huge. I mean, he's done very well with it. And I just think he's the first of many. I mean, and there's many other examples. But it's just like, hey, man, you know what? Because here's the thing. When you're doing the podcast, you can make those on your time. Yep. And if I'm listening to the podcast, I can listen to it whenever I want.
And it's always there.
Yeah. I don't have to block off from 9 to 12.
Yeah.
Hell, I can listen to it whenever I want.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. There's a ton of deer hunting podcasts.
Oh, Lord. They're everywhere.
They're everywhere. I mean, in all honesty, that got hit so hard.
Oh. It's so oversaturated.
I mean, dude, you fired that thing up, and I mean, you had everybody in Southern. I mean, you had these people in Southern Ohio so fired up. I mean, it was like the gold rush.
Yeah, you just like I don't know when it was, probably 2015, so 8 years ago. There, about 7, 8 years ago, outfitters really jumped on social media for the first time, and it was just like just people were just. Everybody was outfitting. Everybody was wanting to book hunts.
If you had 5 acres, bud, use it.
Did a lot of people fail?
Oh, so many failures.
Okay. Yeah. Did they just not have enough infrastructure, or
people that try to do it because they think that it's good extra money? Those are the guys that always fail. Okay. Because it's all customer service.
Yeah, and you got to be all in, or you're.
Yeah, it's customer service based. You're there for your customer. You're there to make your customer happy and to go above and beyond to try to help him have a good experience, regardless of whether he kills something or not. And so a lot of people just want to collect the money, put them in a tree stand. Okay, cool. You didn't kill. See you later. Go kick rocks. And that's not how it works. That's how you get a bad name for yourself. Yeah. And that's how you run yourself out of business real fast. And that comes into play with not having any experience in the business industry or anything like that.
Airbnb, same. I have a lot of people that call me all the time, and I mean, and you know, hey, if you want to do an Airbnb, more power to you. You know, but they'll ask me, they'll say, hey, man, you know, are you making any money with that? You know, I've been thinking about doing that, and I say, hey, you know, you can make money with it, okay, but listen, you have to work. Yeah. You know, I mean, it works out pretty good for me because I'm here every day anyway. Yeah. Okay. Right. But I mean, you know, and it's right upstairs from my office, you know, but I mean, at the end of the day, it is a lot of work.
Is that any different than starting a podcast?
Yeah.
Everybody wants a podcast.
Everybody wants a podcast.
Do you want to do it once a week for 3 years?
Yeah. Twice a week.
Yeah.
We were figuring that how much money had we spent?
Oh God. I hate to think.
I'd say between me and you and Tyler, I'd say that we probably put $15,000 in this thing.
I'd say.
I know we paid rent.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You know, for 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
And then, you know, thank gosh we got this building.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, we've bought equipment and everything, and I mean, and we've never taken the first dime from it.
No.
But
I mean, the one thing, I mean,
we've
comes
stayed
with any business like that, man. I mean, everybody wants to make money overnight.
Yep.
And man, I'll tell you, I don't know if that's possible in any business.
Other
than the lottery, dude. You know,
yeah.
I mean, you know, you get lucky there, but luck doesn't play into being successful in any business operation.
Well, and I think that there's an aspect of business in these situations that are, you know, are you creating something? You know, it's just, I mean, you created something. You know, with especially with Southern High Outfitters. I mean, you know, especially with Southern High Outfitters, you created basically an industry here. Yeah. You know, you and some other guys. You know, I mean, I'll give you a lot of credit in that. There were some other guys involved. You know, but you know, podcasts. Just like we're not the only ones. You know, but I mean, we did something here. I mean, we were one of the first ones, I guess. Or, you know, but I mean, you know, this will be cool if we can make this thing fly. You know, I always thought that's always something cool too in the back of your mind. It's like, man, you know, getting something going that's different.
Oh yeah.
You know, there's always that type of thing. But so we're going to do. So let's talk about it again before we wrap it up. Have we been over an hour? Yep, we're right at an hour. Yeah. So let's talk about it again, Lusk. So the Lusk's Fresh Cuts.
Yes.
Those business cards are sharp. By the way.
I like them.
Yeah, I did that in like 5 minutes.
This guy, he doesn't come in just wondering.
Oh,
I guarantee you that this lawn business is going to take over.
Yeah.
You're the second person I've had tell me that. They said just.
I'm gonna have to control myself to keep it from not. Oh yeah, I gotta keep grounded.
I know. Well, you keep that mower.
I said I just want to stay busy just a little bit, and next thing I know, I got like 50 accounts.
Well, all of a sudden he doesn't have a smile on his face out there mowing.
Oh, like it's damn grass.
That's going to happen, you know. I've thought about that many times. Yeah. You know, you started off all nonchalant out there in the front yard. And I thought, I wonder if he's still all nice and cozy, just enjoying this nice spring mornings now. You know,
hey, as long as I get to stop and get lunch at the hibachi, I'm good.
Hey, there you go, bud.
They'll give me some sushi.
Yeah.
So you got to go to Lusk's Fresh Cuts. You got to like that page. You got to go to the Chubby Guys Podcast Facebook page. You got to like both those Facebook pages, okay? And that's all you got to do. And then so we're going to throw all those names into a drawing. So we have, we have 2,000 names on ours. So how do you want to do that? Is there a way that we can scrub those names?
Yeah, we just need to. Yeah, we'll just have to randomly
people that like it.
Way to draw
yeah, people that like it, and then we can even put all those names on paper and draw it.
Mm-hmm.
Go live on Facebook and draw it.
And draw it right there on what day?
How long do you want to give them? Because this won't come out till, you know.
Yeah, we were originally going to do like May 2nd, but we missed that date.
Yeah, around June, 1st of June will be fine.
1st of June?
1st of June.
You want to come back in one night and we'll do it live here on there? So this will be out by or you want to go middle of June? You want to give yourself some time to build this up a little bit because this won't be out.
I'm going to start pushing it pretty hard on the page.
Yeah, this won't be out. Today's May 11th, so this probably won't be out until the week of the
20th. Maybe.
20th. So I mean, you want to give yourself a month anyway. So I say let's just draw it around June. When did you go on vacation?
July.
Okay, so let's just do like June. The third week of June one. We'll draw it. So we'll pick the date. So like both Facebook pages. Go like Lusk's Fresh Cuts. All right. Anything else we got to tell?
I think we got her covered.
We got her covered. Anything else we got to tell, Chad?
Hey, like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Hey, and you guys, some of you going to be getting an email here pretty soon from our boy Jared. So
hey, check us out, man. If you run a business and you're looking to advertise, give us a shot.
Give us a shot.
I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. And hey, keep at it, man. Keep watching. We appreciate you.
We
guys.
appreciate the listeners.
Like and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify.
Yep. So all right, that's all we got. Hey, see you.